That Time of the Month by Red Not Yellow Roses. Sirius mistakes his friend Remus's symptoms of lycanthropy as him being trans and on his period. He tries to help ease his friend's dysphoria, but something comes along. It was once a month, every month. Sirius liked to think of himself as very observant. Sure, maybe a bit brash, impulsive at times, but when it mattered, he displayed enough tact and intelligence to make a necessary deduction. In the case of Remus Lupin himself, he had been building quite a report. Curiously, Sirius watched the tawny-haired boy behaviors fluctuate over time and would scribble his theories out on a small leather-bound book before bed, sequestering behind his Gryffindor curtains. Tonight, he was doing just that. His long, inky hair tucked behind his ears, fiddling with his quill as he opened up the journal, and there it read: The case of Remus Lupin. Once a month, every month, he seems to be suffering for a few days. Symptoms include 1. Grimacing in pain. 2. Irritable, often angry and lashing out. 3. Trouble sleeping. 4. Visible fatigue. 5. Crying out at night when he thinks we're all asleep. 6. Craving and changing appetite quite frequently. 7. Shy about undressing around us. And 8. Always deflecting or getting shifty when we confront him about it. There was one obvious conclusion to all of this. Remus was trans. Of course. It was his time of the month. How could Sirius not have seen it sooner? After all, the time he spent to make sure his younger brother felt accepted. Well, there's one thing for it. Clearly, Remus wasn't ready to come out to them. That was something he had to do on his own time. But he could at least make it easier for him. Snapping his notebook shut, Sirius resolved to help ease his best friend's dysphoria as best as he could. As the, as the next month came, Sirius was ready. It was Charm's class. He was sitting next to the taller boy, watching his honey curls fall on his face, as his large, bony fingers swept across his page, when a Hufflepuff girl approached. Hey, Remus, she chirped. So, I know you're a proper swot. Remus' nostrils flared. But Daphne said you had tutoring, and I really can't get a hold of that hand movement for this one. Care to help me later tonight? Now, Remus was typically known as the nice one, but clearly he had a harder time sustaining his self-sacrifice and generosity during his time of the month. As his jaw tightened, eyes flared with frustration, Sirius could see his grip tightening around his quill. The girl was shifting foot to foot. Sorry, Melaine. I really have to get this transfiguration essay done tonight. Remus spoke tightly, tone sharp, laced with frustration. Oh, right. Okay. Whatever then. Melaine stalked off, not without muttering a final bloody swat under her breath, which had Remus bristling with agitation. Clearly, his mood swings were not treating him well. Sirius softly placed a comforting hand on his friend's forearm, getting his attention before reaching in his robe pocket and sliding a chocolate frog across the table. Remus looked at him importantly, gratitude shining in those big amber eyes of his. Sirius felt a glow of warmth in his chest at helping his friend. The pair shared a small smile. At dinner later, Remus was pulling a rather endearing expression, all furrowed brows, pinched mouth, unfocused eyes as he tried to suppress a wince of discomfort. He shifted coopiously on the wooden bench and picked at his food half-heartedly. Merlin, Remus, you good, mate? James questioned light-heartedly. Yeah, mate. Sit still, would ya? Peter chuckled. Remus's jaw clenched as he grumbled into his plate. Sorry, he mumbled. Sirius felt a pang of sympathy, knowing from Reg how utterly awful this must be for him, having a painful reminder of your differences with no other to confine in. Maybe he should introduce the pair. He watched Rima shift one more time, wincing. At that, Sirius stubbornly flicked his wand under the table, using a softening charm on the wood. Remus's eyes meet his um darted up to meet his in surprise. The other boy looked at him with a creased brow, opening his mouth and then closing it as an afterthought. Later in the meal, while Remus was staring distractedly at the wall, Sirius slipped a tiny vial of pain potion, which he had knacked from Pomfrey's under the cloak last week, into Remus's pumpkin juice. Sirius watched contently as Remus began to relax, shooing him one more of those uncertain, lopsided smiles with the smallest hint of a sharpened canine. Remus's point of view. It went on like this over for the next few days. Remus's bones would twist and ache. Sirius would sneak him a potion. Remus would feel the wolf irritating and anger bubbling underneath his skin as he lashed out. Sirius would leave half a honeyduke's store's room on his bed. Remus would toss and turn all night. Sirius would offer to sleep, draught, or slip into bed with him. Remus would curl up in himself in the common room, dreading the moon, and Sirius would get him a mug of tea and a fuzzy blanket with a warming charm. Each time, Remus would accept Sirius' affection, but knew not to trust them. It was surely all a ruse before he exposed to him the whole cohort or start lacing his porridge with silver. It was a full moon tonight, and Remus was sitting on his bed pretending to read while he fought the tears of frustration. He always knew this was coming. He wished he had more time. Steeling himself, he gave his unusual excuse of a migraine and headed off to the hospital ring. As he left, he took a note of calculating stares in his friend's stormy eyes from where Sirius was stretched out elegantly over his bed. He rushed out of the dorm to meet with Poppy and and McGonagall. Something told him this would be a bad moon. Pacing back and forth, he was wearing a whole dilapidated timber floorboards of the Shriek Shack. Remus was panicking. He was sure Sirius knew. Fuck. What he thought would be do what he's been doing pretty well so far 3 years through schooling, and not so much as an occasional suspicion glanced from Peter. But well, he had a good run. If he had to go live with Roman's wilderness now, so be it. A familiar snap of bones and a grilling twig of pain snapped him out of his thoughts as he let himself succumb to the transformation as wave of agony through his body. His last bitter thought as the wolf took over was the eerie sense of resignation and irony. At least he'd never be alone. He always had his oldest friend, the bloodthirsty monster that lived beneath his bones. Sirius's point of view. It had already been late when Remus had left, and just before curfew, but Sirius stayed up, awaiting his return to slip him some more chocolate or warm one of his cozy worn jumpers. He waited and waited. He assumed Remus would be getting pain relievers or perhaps some of those testosterone potions that Rake took, but it wasn't until 6 a.m. when Remus finally stumbled back into the dorm. likely assuming that the three boys laid asleep beneath their curtains. Sirius, however, was peeking out from the gap between his bed hanging, his eyes trained on Remus, trotling from shifting towards his bed. He looked, well, awful, to be honest. Sirius emerged from his bed hesitantly, ready to wordlessly deliver another sleeping draught. A caramel a caramel cauldron. Remus swiveled at the noise and wrenched backward in the alarm, petrified by the presence outed. Sirius? He croaked. Sirius put his hand up, pacing gesture, and paced with him entities. It's fine, Remus. Just get some sleep. Clearly too tired to fight, the boy quinced down his potion and practically collapsed into his pillows. Remus, look, I know it doesn't change how I see you. You're no less of a bloke than any of us. You know, we you'll always be our mates. Sirius affirmed. Sirius was actually pretty proud of his little speech. He had been rehearsing since Remus went to sleep, obtaining the skipping a couple of classes to comfort his friend. Remus, however, was eventually not a fan. He was still lying in his bed, looking like a death personified, with an absolutely incredulous expression on his face. He propped himself up on the elbows and blinked emotionlessly back at Sirius. What? He spat. Are you fucking insane? Why are you even helping me? I'm a monster. I'm a fucking beast. I'm not even human. How can you say that? What? He spat. Are you fucking insane? Why are you even helping me? I'm a monster. A fucking beast. I'm not even human. How can you say that? He ranted, gesticulating wildly in his body as he spoke. Serious concern spoke softly, feeling his heart break at his friend's self-deprecation. Remus, of course you're human. There's nothing wrong. Oh, wait, what? Remus interjected. Sirius frowned, chewing his lip. Yeah, I mean, your time of the month is just a phase, for now, at least. Remus, deadpan. Confusion slowly morphed into a disbelieving smile, then broke out into hysterical laughter. Sirius shifted awkwardly, feeling very much like he made a huge mistake. Remus was still laughing, tears streaming down his face as he smiled. Oh, Merlin, he huffed between gasps of laughter. My time of the month? That's one word for it, I guess. I, are you not? Sirius started apprehensively. Remus pulled himself together for a second before swallowing and finding with his loose thread in his duvet. He gave a smile and then a sigh of resignation before staring at Sirius with a change in those honey eyes. Sirius, I'm a werewolf. Oh, well, wow. Sirius felt his face flush in embarrassment. No doubt he was bright red. Yeah, so feel free to take back all your chocolates. Remus spat. Sirius frowned. No, I mean, you can still use it. Like, I know it's not the same, but you like that shit. I mean, most of the time, you're just, it, you see, why see you? I don't know what it's like when you're a wolf, Remus, subtly bluntly. Yeah, but every other day, you're just Remus, and you're in pain. I still stand by what I said, Remus. I don't see you any differently. I know you never hurt anyone. Remus shook his head. I cannot control that, Sirius. You'll never be safe around me. Not really. Sirius began pacing the floorboards in frustration. Okay, maybe it was a bit different. Okay, maybe it was a lot different. But why couldn't Remus just accept his support? That's not true, Remus. I've been around you for 3 years now. You never hurt me or anyone, and I'm assuming you've been a werewolf the whole fucking time. Remus laughed sharply. Yeah, since I was 5. Remus stopped his pacing and sucked in a sharp breath. 5? His voice broke. Yeah, Remus mumbled. Head hanging low, Sirius took his apprehensive into a new light. The scars littering his skin, the piercing amber eyes, sharp canines, but never the sorrow that seemed to be laced in his features. Sirius felt the words stick in his throat. He anxiously perched on Remus's bed. Merlin, Remus, that's so young. Why would anyone... Did they do it to you? Remus turned away from his gaze and fixed on the floor, swallowing thickly. He hugged his knees to his chest. I don't... I don't want to talk about it, he muttered. Sirius felt hot rage bubble in his stomach. In defense of this sweet, innocent, book-loving boy, Sirius placed his hand tentatively on Remus's knee. It's okay, Remus. I'm not gonna tell anyone. I just want to help you. Remus lifted his gaze, eyes watering, full of hope. He nodded silently. Now, you look like shit. Eat this. You'll feel better. Sirius tossed him a chocolate bar. And go to sleep. Remus gave a shy smile. And that was that. Did you enjoy that? If so, subscribe. I can't take myself seriously. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that a lot. I've always been into audiobooks and podfics, and plus I did comic dubs, and this is just the same thing without the pictures, so A. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I might be doing a lot more this type of style of videos. I know I wanted to do a podcast, which is still happening. It's just a lot of the members of the podcast, including myself, have life going on, and our schedules just don't do a thing that is supposed to. Um, but in short, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Um, as I said in the beginning, the story is made by Red Yellow Roses. I really hope you guys go follow them on AO3. Their link is in the description. They have many other stories. And if you have a story that you want me to read, depending on the fandom, I will read it. I am 100% down for anything, as long as it is YouTube appropriate. Because if you're part of my audience, I know what you read. Um, but anyway, I hopefully you guys enjoyed. If so, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment of what fanfiction I should do next, or what video should I do next. I am down for anything, and I should probably head to bed now because it is 12:23 a.m. and I have to wash my hair from hair dye and open up a store tomorrow. Yay. Um, but anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Yeah. Um, I never learned how to do an outro properly, so bye.